What up, yo?
A ghost.
A ghost.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Happy hump day. It is Wednesday. We are here. We are alive. Guys doing all right? I'm doing okay. I just got done eating some Chick-fil-A, and man, gotta love that inflation, right? Because the size portion of what I got compared to what I had to pay for was bullshit. We are slowly making it through the week. Apparently a lot of interesting stuff happening. Insanity, if you will. But nevertheless, we will persevere and get through it. If you enjoy the Power Up podcast, which is this show, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Punch that thumbs up and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live. Whether that's doing this or game streaming, we talk about pop culture, the good, the bad, the ugly, spiritual, all the stuff. With the goal of hopefully, trying to bring back the beauty and the nostalgia of what games were like back in the day. Because back in the day, everything was good. You could just experiment, see if something works, see if something failed, and just let it be. But now everything has to have a message attached to it. Some infestation, if you will, that was never supposed to be there to begin with. And we're here to laugh at it. And hopefully, try to root it out. But the big thing that I just saw was indeed... Oh, gosh, do not tell me that I just closed that. Okay, good. I didn't. Well, the big thing that we saw is that the Trump overseeing Gina Carano's lawsuit against Disney for wrongful termination, and Disney filed a motion to dismiss it, and the judge says, nope, not good enough. We're going through it. And big win for Gina. So we'll read about that. That's awesome because screw you, Disney. You can reap what you sow. And we're seeing it as well with your disgusting and terrible ratings involving like The Acolyte, for example, which we have some stuff we'll talk to about that. Over in the video game era, Assassin's Creed Shadows, old Ubisoft has put out a post to discuss and apologize about all the stuff, but it is an apology. But we'll read about that. And of course, we kind of have the whole Mr. Beast co-host, being a PDF file and a scumbag piece of garbage. So we'll look into that, see what we do, see how we do. But without further ado, let's hop in here. Well, the Gina one's the big one because I see that as something that's good, that's positive, But we got this apparently. Let's adjust this here. There we go. Over on Niche Gamer. So, Mr. Beast co-host Ava Chris Tyson. It's always a weird name, too. They just can't pick a normal name. Quits amid claims of grooming a minor. Uh-oh. Well, that's not good. So, YouTube streamer, I didn't even know he streamed. Ava Chris Tyson has posted an apology in response to accusations he groomed a minor. Let's be real. He, not her. That he groomed a minor while also leaving Mr. Beast's channel. I would like to apologize for any of my past behavior or comments if it hurt or offended anyone, Tyson said in an X post. It was not my intent. I always find that funny. Because it's like, if the message that are being sent to like kids or whatever, and like you're being, you're getting in pretty graphic descriptions and stuff like that. Like, it's like, how can you say something like it was not my intent? It's like that makes no sense. It's like when the Norm Macdonald joke, where it's his Bill Cosby one, where he's like, I talked to Patton Oswalt, and when he found out about the whole Cosby thing, he was like, I think the worst thing out of all of that was the hypocrisy. And Norm's like, really? So I think the worst part about the whole thing was the grape. It's that. It's like these people are trying to demote it to be like, oh, it wasn't my intent. And it's like literally like what you were doing had intention to it. Like, you're retarded and you're a liar. You're saying all this disgusting stuff. And it's like, but I hope it wasn't my intent. It's like, if it wasn't your intent, why did you say it? But we all know we all know. I mean, you just look at this and guy's broken. How long was he broken? Who knows? Did something happen to him when he was younger? Possibly. It's usually what happens, sadly. A lot of people like this are usually something happened when they were young that probably maybe even involved like them being groomed itself. It's usually how it goes. Does that excuse the action now? No. And of course, if you always had this problem, seek help before you cross that line and actually physically do something, So he says, it was not my intent to apparently not offend anyone or hurt anyone when he sent those, I guess, like tweets or something. So seeing recent events, we've mutually decided it's best I permanently step away from all things Mr. Beast and social media to focus on my family and mental health. As far as I'm concerned, 1, you shouldn't have a family. And 2, if anything, the mental health should be number 1 immediately. So in the same thread of statements, Chris Tyson also vehemently denied the accusations of grooming a fan who was underage at the time. The video surfaced on June 13th detailing the accusation against the YouTuber personality. The video shows Tyson, then 20, a fan who was 13, having correspondence for many years. Why? Dude, why? Do not even humor that. Like, don't engage it. So apparently this guy was broken. He clearly around 20 as well. Because he's chatting with 13-year-old. Oh my gosh, why? Does not look good. So an alleged piece of evidence from the accuser shows Tyson's snapshot message to a fan named Coming for America. Excuse me. I chuckled at that while also clearing the throat and stuff like that. Because, wait, so the 13-year-old's name is Coming for America? Okay. They're both messed up. A wave of condemnation swept across social media with Tyson, who is transgender, bombarded with accusations that the streamer was sexually abusing underage people. The person who was involved with Chris Tyson has denied any sexual relationship with the former streamer. I'm not backpedaling any statements I've already made, the person said. Everything I have stated is still very true. Nothing bad happened between me and Chris. People are creating lies around my name. Ava never did anything wrong and just made a few edgy jokes. Well, we've seen this before, because that's what got Dr. Disrespect removed from Twitch. The question is will Ava get a pass because they're transgender? As far as I'm concerned, no. He should not get a pass. Now, and this is very vague too. A few edgy jokes, like what exactly were edgy about them? Like what exactly was said, you know? There might be screenshots out there. I don't know. I don't really want to know. I was never exploited or taken advantage of. Can you do me a favor and comment on these videos and top them and tell them to stop spreading lies? The situation takes away from children who are actively being exploited over or every day online. Then why? Okay, if you're saying this, then why are you saying to ignore this? Well, for me, I was okay. It's like, well, are you though? I'm not a victim of anything being claimed in these videos or at all. Mr. Beast has yet to comment on the situation. So is there like actually any other info about this? Let's see here. The obvious thing is that, one, don't talk to 13-year-olds, especially online, and especially saying edgy jokes to them, because it's never going to work out. Number two, if you have those sort of problems, seek help immediately before you act on them. And number three, if you just ignore all of it because you don't care, then into the wood chipper you go. Let's see. Here's one here from the New York Post. Guess we could. Dang it. So here's this. One of Mr. Beast's YouTube co-hosts, Ava Chris Tyson, announced he's quitting the popular channel after allegations of grooming a minor. Tyson, 28, was recently accused of sending inappropriate messages when he was 20 to a then 13-year-old. And then Tyson addressed the allegations on social media on Tuesday. Okay, so we've read all that, which hilarious on how you would say I need to focus on my family and mental health, with mental health being the number one thing you should focus on, you freak. Okay. So in a following up tweets, Tyson said, I want to add, I never groomed anyone. The person who gets brought up in these accusations, who used the handle LavaGS on X, goes by Lava, has vocally supported that they are false. But how did these get brought up is the question. This is like, where did this come from? Tyson similarly acknowledged making off-color comments. I humbly apologize to anyone I have hurt with my unacceptable social media posts. We don't care. Past actions, and to those who feel betrayed about how I used to act online. To lump these two factors together to create a narrative that my behavior extends beyond bad, edgy jokes is disgusting and did not happen. Well, here's the thing. Number one, your transgenderism isn't going to save you. And number two, it's the group that's the side that supposedly supports you are the ones that are probably saying this. This is why the woke ideology, cancel culture, and all this shit is absolute garbage. It's why it's 100% garbage. Because they're the ones that are blurring the lines to say, you know, bad, edgy jokes. The main thing is, what is the bad, edgy jokes? Like, what are we talking about here? Because we've all said edgy jokes at the time when, you know, younger, in our 20s and stuff, because we're retarded. The main thing is you don't act out on them. That's the thing. If it's one thing just to say stuff. If you're saying stuff and then doing it, That's a problem. And it appears, what's this? See more. It appears he's claiming he didn't do anything, but like X to down on that. Because I'm sorry, a person who thinks they're a woman when they're a man is trying to tell me that I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything. Like, dude, you don't have a good track record going on because you can't even tell like who you are. Like, you can't just accept the fact of like what God has made you. And it ain't this. So, okay. So Tyson, who came out as transgender woman last year, was accused of grooming Lava in a 45-minute video post online in June by the account Prism42. Okay. The video claimed Tyson sent a Snapchat message to the then minor of her face with the text, "Coming for America." Okay, so he sent that to her. And then Lava denied the allegations made in the video on Monday. "Videos are massive lies and twisting the truth," he wrote. Okay, we've read that. He claims he's not a victim and stuff like that. Okay, when Tyson came out last year and announced he was undergoing affirming hormone replacement therapy resulting in transphobic attacks against him online, Mr. Beast, whose real name is Jimmy Donaldson, defended Tyson last month from the streamer Nick Merckx, who accused Tyson of abandoning her 4-year-old son, Tucker, to play pretend. Well, that is true. That is true in the sense of he is indeed playing pretend. Ava is literally always with his kid and doesn't even go on shoots so that he can spend more time with him, Mr. Beast wrote on X in defense of this thing. It doesn't matter. Dude, you're scarring that kid simply because you can't come to terms to the fact that you're a guy. You're already damning that kid. Tuckman. Wait. Well, that's rude, Mr. Beast, calling him Tuckman. I thought he was a woman. He's always smiling, not sure why this rumor is a thing. So Tyson co-parents his son with his ex-wife, Katie. The former couple separated in 2022. Yeah, when he... Okay, so I'm not really... Where's the source of these stuff, though? That's my biggest thing, is how did people, like, find out about this message? That's what I'm kind of curious about. But regardless, I mean, if 100% true in grooming a minor, to the wood chipper. You go to the wood chipper. Because number one, again, don't talk to 13-year-olds online. Just don't do it. Don't do it. And heaven forbid, like, it's just mind-boggling. Like, trying to downplay, like, oh, yeah, it's like, yeah, I did said some edgy stuff to a 13-year-old when I was a 20-year-old, but, you know, I didn't do anything. It's like, okay, we've all made retarded mistakes, but you had to have had a reason to specifically go after and talk to someone. You found out at some point that person was 13 years old. You had to have. It makes it sound like you did because you're admitting it. That, yeah, I did say edgy stuff and I did do that, but I didn't do anything. So you knew damn well who you were talking to. To me, it sounds like you didn't care at the time because probably you're a PDF file. Just based on my observation. I mean, I don't know. Kind of don't want to know, too. This is one of the things popping up. So, yeah. Lesson here, folks. Don't talk to 13-year-olds online. Don't joke edgy humor with them. And you have any of those mental instabilities, seek help immediately before you do something that you will regret or possibly be, may cause a ruckus that you might find yourself getting shanked if you ever go to prison. Well, anyway, enough of that garbage. Garbage as in, creep people. So, Assassin's Creed Shadows dev team responds to criticism from Japanese players and claim, this is from Bounding into Comics, claims Yasuke's samurai status is, quote, a matter of debate and discussion. This just keeps getting better and better because it is absolutely insane on how much Ubisoft is panicking right now. They are in full-blown panic. Okay, that was... Let me check to make sure. Thought there was a lag on my end, at least Rumble. All right. I think we're good. All right. So in response to the absolutely massive wave of backlash directed towards those players from the land of the rising sun, the Ubisoft the Ubisoft dev team currently working, on Assassin's Creed Shadows, has apologized for the fact that, quote, some elements of the game's promotional material has, quote, caused concern within the Japanese community. Wow. The self-awareness, absolutely zero, or straight up assholes. I'm going to go with the latter, because that's what they are. As previously reported and extensively covered by BIC contributor Cider Hype on Bounding into Comics YouTube channel, the next entry in Ubisoft's long-running historical fiction series has drawn the ire of some Japanese players due to the very noted historical and cultural errors seen throughout production. So, oh yeah. As you can see, we talked about this last time. Yeah, this communist trying to say, oh no, he was a samurai. It's like, okay, commie, get out. These include various in-game buildings featuring Chinese rather than Japanese architecture. Okay, so failure number one. A servant being depicted as sitting on the same stage as Oda Nobunaga himself, an act which would have been seen as a massive disrespect and result in the servant's execution. Yep. And, of course, the instance that the historical African transplant known as Yasuke was not just retainer to Nobunaga, but rather a full-blown samurai. So in response to this ongoing outrage, the Shadows dev team took to the game's official Twitter account on July 23rd to both apologize for having caused offense and also defend their creative vision. To me, you can't defend this. You can't defend it. I made a post about it, and I've said it before, and I'll just reiterate it again. Hold on. Okay, it's like weird, like Rumble is like weirdly lagging in mine, and it looks like it's stuttering, but it looks like at least over on actual Rumble and stuff like that, it's fine. But anyway. I've been bitching at Rumble lately for this. I'm getting tired of it. Anyway. Where was I? Oh, yeah. They can't defend it because they busted a nut when they determined that Yasuke was going to be the main character, because he was everything that they had ever wanted in terms of DEI representation and stuff like that. It was a black dude. No little history is known about him, with enough information to make up whatever you want about him. Like it was the golden goose of DEI, like, you know, DEI heaven. The golden goose that they could use to promote whatever bullshit garbage woke theory they had. And the funny thing is that people have already done this like in the past, and they've done way better. Like Afro Samurai, I was told was based on Yasuke and all that stuff. Like the main thing is that there's been other stuff using Yasuke as like being influential and stuff like that. And those are perfectly fine. But we knew right from the beginning the reason why they picked him. We know why. They don't want to admit it, but they know why. And you can tell by their actions that we know what their reasons was, because they purposely went out of their way to find historians that conveniently line up with their ideology, who aren't like a solid Japanese person. Like the one activist that they hired like was what, Japanese American, who, you know, writes a story about little boys or something like that. They're her retarded research paper or whatever. Around like in 2022, no less. They didn't go like find like your 65-year-old or whatever, you know, who may have done so much research and stuff and could find us into it. They didn't bother looking at the historical records because we've read their historical records online, and it's nowhere near, I guarantee, nowhere near going to be portrayed like they're going to be portraying him in the video game. But anyway, so first we want to express our heartfelt thanks for all your support for the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. Well, I mean, back then it was pretty cool. Now it's just garbage. Began the team's lengthy statement. Over time, we have explored various settings, time periods, and characters from an assassin during the Third Crusade to the Viking in 9th century England and countless more. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long cherished dream, it continued. Since the announcement of Assassin's Creed Shadows, we have received many positive reactions. Well, I mean, the only positive reactions you're receiving from are activists. But also some criticism, including from you, our Japanese players. All right, let's see how in the end, how the Japanese players don't matter, because that's what we're gonna probably see. Because let's just admit it, Ubisoft, you hate Asian people because they're white adjacent, and people have pointed this out too. I'm sure you're secretly thrilled that you picked a black dude, a historical black dude, because you know you hate white people, and you know Asians are adjacent white, and now you can be a black dude running around slicing up Asian people. So since okay, we've read that. We share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for the historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intentions and creative decisions. So here comes the big but. And not the song. Not that. The big buts that Ubisoft will certainly lie that they hate. So starting with their, quote, overall authenticity efforts, the team explained, we have put significant effort into ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. No, you haven't. Because you can't even get correct Japanese architecture. You can't even get the correct seasonings from, like, what, the cherry blossoms happening? You guys can't do that. Like, something as basic as that, you guys can't do it. So don't tell me that you've put in significant effort to ensure an immersive and respectable representation. You guys didn't. You didn't do it. You're wrong. Says, I'm mixed. I believe Ubisoft should be boycotted and feel the monetary punishment from it. Do not agree the government getting involved. Despite the game being garbage, they have every right to. That's all I have to say on this issue, though. I mean, obviously government shouldn't be involved anywhere in the world. I agree with you there. As for Ubisoft being boycotted, absolutely. Now, the petition wants to cancel the game entirely. I don't think so. I think that the game should be pushed back into reproduction and everything fixed up to force them to spend more money to fix everything. That includes recalling all the artwork that's already being made and literally all the stuff that's being made, redo the whole thing. Make Ubisoft spend more money to redo everything. That's how I want to. That's how I wish we could like get them to be punished. So they go on by saying, however, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed games, including Assassin's Creed Shadow, as a factual representation of history. Dude, the backpedaling, because there's literally videos of you guys talking about, like, your main argument when people pushed back against this is you landed on the, well, you're just mad because he's a historical figure. Dude, we saw this coming a mile away. The script that these people have been read so many times, it's clearly easy to see it coming. Clearly easy to see it coming. You knew that any sort of pushback, they would fall on the limited information that we have about Yasuke was the fact that he was a historical figure. And that's something that they pushed for a while until stuff really started to get heated. Now, all of a sudden, they're changing their tune and saying, well, I mean, we didn't really, made Assassin's Creed game to factually represent the history. Motherfucker, you hid behind the fact that Yasuke is a historical figure because there's actual historical records of him. A little bit of it. When the immediate pushback began, like when the very first pushback began, gosh, I hate this shit. I hate it so much because, like, it's the same damn script over and over and over because we know exactly what they're going to do. Instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical setting we get inspired by. Dude, look at this. Our intentions has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed game as factual representation in history. Very next sentence. We aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn about the historical setting. Which one is it? Because if you're going to be saying our thing has never been factually, like our games were never made to be factually representation of history, then completely just don't do it then. This includes any historical setting. Like if the game was as loopy as you can made it, then I could give you credence to that because it's clear. Like, okay, yeah, we like samurai. It's samurai. It's in a fictional Japan and stuff like that. But you're making a main character based on a historical figure. Assassin's Creed Shadows is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction sentence. Dude, there's going to be tons of backpedaling in this. I've already read this, but there's going to be so many backpedaling into this. It's not fictional. It's not historically accurate, but we're basing it on historically accurate architects, but it's not historically actual in Japan, but we are using a historically, like, dude, the goalposts constantly moving. The goalposts they just have above ground, ready to run it back and forth whenever they need to. Our team extensively collaborated with external consultants, historians, researchers, and internal teams as Ubisoft Japan to inform our creative choices. You purposely went out of your way to find people that believe in your ideology. That's pretty much their explanation. And we called you out on it, and now your guys are panicking about it. Because now Japan has gotten pissed off enough that they're talking to the government about it. Which they shouldn't have to. Because if you guys truly cared about Japanese gamers, you would have realized that, yeah, maybe the main character of a fictional Japan that you're claiming you're wanting this to take place in probably should have been the normal person of that time or based on the normal people of that time. And Yasuke is not normal. Sorry, hate to tell you that. I don't care if he's a historical figure. If you're lining up bunch of Japanese people of different ages, shapes, sizes, XYZ, all this bullshit, and then have just one black dude and you go, we're picking the black dude, That tells you all about who you guys are and the reason why you picked them. And their bullshit excuse of, well, we wanted to see, we wanted to see it through, like, what was it, an outsider's eyes or whatever bullshit they were talking about. But you're saying that you love Japan, and like, we were so excited that now finally we're making an Assassin's game in Japan. And your bullshit reasoning is, oh yeah, but we're going to tell it from this person who's not Japanese. He's a historical figure, though. Like, fuck off with that. Just say you hate Asian people. Keep projecting all your racism and stuff onto other people. Same with all the people that suck your guys' dick. That are like, oh, everyone's just mad because they hate they're racist because they hate black people. No, you're the one that actually hates black people, because that's how you view the world, is through sex, gender, color, skin color, all that shit. That's like racism in its purest rawest form. Despite these sustained efforts, they weren't sustained efforts. Your efforts were, let's just find the people who believe our ideology and just hire them. We acknowledge that some elements in our promotional materials have caused concern with the Japanese community. For this, we sincerely apologize. Take your apology and shove it up your ass, because you don't mean it. All game footage presented so far as in development, and the game will keep evolving until launch. Then this guy should be removed entirely. The devs then clarified, based on the constructive criticism. Oh, you guys must have hurt really bad when you typed out constructive criticism, because according to the weeds that have infested the video game industry, there's no such thing as constructive criticism. Any sort of criticism is a result of supposedly racist, sexist, xenophobic people. And that the only time there's ever constructive criticism is when you just agree exactly with their ideology. We will continue our efforts until we put this game into your hands and beyond. No. You could take the game and redo the whole thing. We also want to clarify that while we have been consulting with many people throughout the development process, bullshit, they are no way responsible for the decisions that are taken by the creative team in the interest of gameplay and entertainment. Yes, they are responsible. This is the one thing that I never ever understood, and I always thought it was bullshit. It's kind of the whole, hate the game, not the player. The players represent the game. If the game is bullshit, who made it bullshit? The players. Because they didn't do their job right. Okay? Remember, these are the people that said your political ideology is now part of making a video game, is now part of the voice acting community. These are the assholes that have set these boundaries. Now they're going back on their word and saying, well, they're not responsible for doing it. Motherfucker, if you hired a historian who follows woke ideology and writes a weird-ass book about little boys, or whatever the hell the name of that title was, we read it back in a past article on a past show, they are absolutely responsible. And you guys are responsible too for following through it. I'm so tired of this. They're not responsible. The historians you hired, yes, they are responsible. Because they said, yeah, no one's going to know. They're going to say, yeah, there's not enough information here, which means we can go ahead and do whatever we want. I'm so tired of that bullshit. So tired of it. Now, my logic, obviously, that they are responsible, but the reason they are responsible, but they're not, they're fakes. They're fakes that have infested the community, the video game community. Those peoples are 100% responsible and need to be removed immediately. That's a lot of stuff too. It's kind of like, if we want to bring Christianity into it, a lot of people will be like, oh, you're a Christian. There's all this, grooming taking place with the priest and stuff like that. And then my response would be, yeah, well, they're not Christians. because they're doing disgusting things like that, you know? Same thing. Every group is going to have disgusting people in there. And they need to be removed. Fakes as well. Scripture even warns about Antichrist. Watch out for them. Don't believe them. Don't incorporate them in your life. Same thing with these assholes. The people you've been consulting were never gamers. I would go as far to say never actually real historians, because the people that supposedly helped you build up this story of Yasuke and the other and whatever her name is, started like apparently publishing their work and stuff like back in 2022, like not even breaking like 2010 and stuff like that. All of this stemmed from like 2006 upward when, you know, Bad Orange Man became president. So consequently, we respectfully request that any criticism not be directed to our collaborators, both internal, executive. No, fuck off. They most certainly need to be shamed. Absolutely 100% need to be shamed. We support constructive criticism. Oh yeah, don't do any criticism directed to our collaborators. Like, piss off. So turning the topic of the game's creative liberties and historical inspirations, in particular those regarding Yasuke, the team asserted, while we strive for authenticity in everything that we do, again, which is it? Authenticity or fiction? Assassin's Creed games are work of fiction inspired by real historical events and figures. For its inception, the series has taken creative license and incorporated fantasy elements to craft engaging and immersive experience. Then stop trying to say that he's a historical figure. Then stop using the excuse he's a historical figure. Yeah, so what? Whatever. But here you are having him being the face of Japan for your game. Did that happen in history in Japan? No. This was an abnormal situation. The representation of Yasuke in our game is an illustration of this. His unique and mysterious life, you mean his unique and unknown life because no one really knows about him, made him an ideal candidate to tell Assassin's Creed story with the setting of feudal Japan as a backdrop. Right there. Translation. Holy crap, we found a black dude that happened to be around during the time of feudal Japan that'll be perfect for our game because so little information is about him. We can just tell whatever we want about him and have him be the representation of Japan during that time. While Yasuke is depicted as a samurai in Assassin's Creed Shadows, we acknowledge that this is a matter of debate and discussion. Then he shouldn't, if you can't figure out what exactly he was, then he was a terrible choice to begin with. And you should have known that it was going to cause backlash. The truth is, you didn't know and you didn't care. They added, we have woven this carefully into our narrative. No, you haven't. And with our other lead character, the Japanese shinobi Naoe. Oh, okay. Okay, so you knew that this backlash was going to happen. And so you threw this bitch in here just so when people push back and say, but we'll have a Japanese girl here. Isn't that good enough? Who is equally important to our game. Our dual protagonist provides players with different gameplay style. So drawing their statement to a close, the team ultimately assured Japanese players, we greatly value your feedback and encourage you to continue to share your thoughts respectfully. While we understand that meeting everyone's expectation is very difficult, we sincerely hope that when Assassin's Creed Shadow launches on November 15th, players in Japan and around the world will appreciate the dedication, effort, and passion we have poured into to push an agenda. That's the only dedication, effort, and passion you poured into was, oh, please, God, let us push this agenda. Oh, please, God, let us put it. That's the only thing you did. Because you guys are scum. So Niche Gamer also talked about Yasuke being a matter of debate. So again, they covered it. So in their apology, Ubisoft acknowledged the depiction of Yasuke as a samurai is a matter of debate, tempering their initial commitment to affirming Yasuke as a samurai. Yasuke's inclusion as a samurai in the new Assassin's Creed game has led to edit wars on Wiki and criticism of historian Thomas Lockley. So there's the apology. Ubisoft was likely spurred to comment due to the growing criticism of Yasuke being lionized as a samurai as if it were meant to properly represent Japanese history. There you go. Very well put. These assholes want Yasuke to be the correct representation of Japanese history. That's what they wanted. And when they discovered Yasuke, they busted a nut all night long because there was very little information about him, which meant they could make up whatever lies they wanted to and then assumed that any pushback that was going to happen, they could just say, well, you're just mad because he's based on a historical black guy. That's all the Ubisoft cucks out there. That's what they say. See, they're projecting their own racism onto other people. Again, I've said that before. Ubisoft has since tempered its discourse regarding the controversial figure in the franchise as a whole, saying that our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed game, including Assassin's Creed Shadows, as factual representation of history or historical figures. The situation has gotten to the point that Japanese government officials became concerned of how Ubisoft was potentially misrepresenting Japanese history and even accused Ubisoft of a culture appropriation. Well, they blackwashed. Yeah, they blackwashed your culture, dude. Because they hate white people. You know, they say we're the racists, we're this, we're that. No, you guys are the racists because you sat down and you said, okay, we don't like Asian people because they're white adjacent, and that goes against, the woke ideology that we all, are the hive mind that we're attracted to. So how can we do this? What can we do? And then someone probably ran into the room and been like, oh, I got it. And they threw the book and go, look, Yasuke. There's this guy named Yasuke. He was black. And they were like, oh, and they just jizzed all over the place and stuff like that. It was exactly what they wanted. I've repeated this like 3 or 4 times. Does my point get across? Each time I apparently go more and more extreme with it. And then it's set to launch November 15th. So there you go. I guess we could actually, since we're here, we can actually read what they wrote about. So to our esteemed Japanese community, a message from the Assassin's Creed Shadows development team. First, we want to express our heartfelt thanks for all of your support to the Assassin's Creed series, which now has its own history spanning almost 20 years. Over the time, we've explored various settings, time periods, and characters from an assassin during the Third Crusade to a Viking in 9th century England and countless more. For many of our team, creating an Assassin's Creed game set in feudal Japan has been a long cherished dream. So since we kind of read this already, we received positive reactions, but also some criticism, including you from you, our Japanese players. Notice how it's only specifically Japanese players. Because, us white people, our thoughts don't matter about the whole thing. Because, again, they hate white people. And because now that the government might step in, now all of a sudden they care about Japanese people. When secretly they hate them. And we know they hated them because, again, look at Stop Asian Hate. When they realized the people who committed that crime, the majority of crimes, again, Asian discrimination, weren't white people. Oops. Share your passion for history and deeply respect your care for historical and cultural integrity of your rich heritage. We would like to address a few points to clarify our intentions. Overall authenticity efforts. We have put significant effort in ensuring an immersive and respectful representation of feudal Japan. X'd out, we saw that with the flags, the structure, the seasons, and the trees. However, our intention has never been to present any of our Assassin's Creed game, including Shadows, as factual representation of history. Oh, so in yours, like the seasons for the cherry blossoms are just out of sync. For yours, apparently, Japan is, I don't know, China, I guess. Because there was apparently buildings that were based on Chinese structure, not Japanese structure. Said we aim to spark controversy and encourage or curiosity. I was going to say, if they admitted they sparked controversy, then there you go. But instead, we aim to spark curiosity and encourage players to explore and learn more about the historical settings we get inspired by this. If I wanted to learn about Japanese culture, I'll actually go to I don't go to a video game. Sorry. See, this makes no sense. It's not a factual representation of history, but we're also here and hope that it encourages you to learn more, that, it encourages you to learn more about what we provided in the game via the historical setting we used. Gosh. Assassin's Creed Shadows is first and foremost designed to be an entertaining video game that tells a compelling historical fiction set in feudal Japan. Past videos, you said the opposite. That was your main pushback against people being pissed off about Yasuke being the main character. It's that, well, you hate black people because he was a historical figure. Said it already. And then maybe we did read all of this. Yeah, we did read all of this in the Bounding in the Comics one. Okay. Well, moving along to Star Wars, which will tie in to the big news, the big uplifting news with Gina Carano. This is also good news. The Acolyte confirmed rating disaster. Disney Star Wars series disappears from Nelson charts after just 3 weeks. Oh, womp womp. Now that's just downright brutal. According to the latest rating, it only took 3 weeks and 4 episodes for The Acolyte to completely fall out of favor with viewers. Star Wars series, unfortunately, but unsurprisingly, given its consistently poor storytelling, ratings fall off was confirmed by television and analytics firm Nielsen via the reported top 10 TV streaming originals. Rankings chart for the week of June 17th to the 32nd, or to the 23rd. Why did I say 32nd? It's because I flipped it around, that's why. As seen therein, while such other streams originals as Bridgerton, The Boys, and Mayor of Kingstown managed to place, The Acolyte was completely absent from that podium. Per the numbers report for the week's 10th most popular series, Netflix's King of Collectibles, The Golden Touch, which charted due to the June 12th release of its second season. This means The Acolyte manages to pull in less than 298 million collective watch minutes across its 4 episodes. There you go. There it is right there. Oof. Now, using King of Collectibles 298 million watch minutes as an admittedly generous point of reference for the Acolyte's unreported ratings, the numbers reveal that each of then available episodes of the Leslie Headland-helmed series pulled in an average of only 74.5 million viewing minutes each. Divide this number by the series' average episode run time of 38 minutes, 151 minutes total across 4 episodes, and the resulting figure reveals that at best, and keep in mind this is a very, very rough estimation, only around 1.9 million viewers tuned in to watch and/or catch up with the 4th part of May and Osha's extended childhood spat. Oh no. And then to further drive home just how abysmal this result is, in the week of its debut, The Acolyte beat out Netflix's Hitler and the Nazis Evil documentary, Netflix reality dating show Perfect Match, and the aforementioned drama Mayor of Kingstown to take 7th place on Nelson's weekly streaming originals chart, posting a total of 488 million watch minutes across its 2-episode premiere. So then the next week, the live-action Star Wars disaster was able to climb 1 spot higher, and then apparently outdid all that other stuff. And the rest, as the reader knows from the above update, is history. So look at that. And though Collider has taken to claim that the series continues to dominate streaming charts, it should be explicitly noted that their cited data comes not from Nielsen, but Reelgood, a streaming service aggregator app whose numbers also take into account engagement, a vague measurement defined by the platform themselves as an aggregation of user interactions with titles across real good platforms, including playbacks, tracks, and other interactions. In other words, due to counting seemingly any interaction a user has with the series on any of their platform as a point towards the acolyte's popularity, such as researching for it, clicking news articles, and even negatively commenting on it, real goods data cannot be relied on cannot be relied on as an accurate measure of the show's viewership numbers. See, this is the same stuff that they use for like pre-orders for video games and stuff, because that's all they care about, because then they can say, oh, we sold a lot, made a lot of pre-orders, did a lot of this, XYZ, all that stuff. And then they don't bother to look at what happens afterwards. And then you get things like Last of Us Part 2, where the return for that game was insane, to where GameStop had to say, we're not taking this anymore. Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, plummeted. The Concord one, or whatever the fuck that wannabe Overwatch DEI garbage thing. That's all the company, you see, that's my biggest fear, is that that's all the companies are starting to look at. So unsurprisingly, in face of such overwhelming data, the series' unpopularity has not gone unnoticed by its cast and crew. So Yang Yigao was pushed from GQ's pushed from GQ in an interview his thoughts on the acolyte's negative reception, and then Manny Jacinto opined, "It's a cycle. With everything that comes out since the original trailer, there's always a very passionate group that doesn't like change. No, has nothing to do with change. It has everything to do if you respected the lore, and you guys didn't. That wants the same feeling that they experienced when they were kids. I mean, it's sold. Only now they've grown up and their taste has matured, and they're more critical about art or the world, and then they are just more precious about the things that they experienced when they were younger." So apparently, he's just shitting on nostalgia. Noting how fans have warmed up to the prequel trilogy in the years since its release. Yeah, compared to what's happening now, the prequels look like a godsend. He then declared, "Look at it through that lens is really helpful. And it sucks that sometimes you have to wait 10, 20, 30 years to get your flowers," he concluded. "But the fact that a lot of people are enjoying it right now, except they're not enjoying it right now. The data says otherwise. I think that's all I can focus on right now." Yeah, you just got to focus in on those very few people that actually gave a shit about it. "It might just take some time to get other people on board, but at the end of the day, I'm so proud of what you made." I wouldn't be proud. I mean, I didn't even see it, but from what I saw, you should be ashamed. So then Headland herself has admitted that at this point, the series renewal depends on a particular strong outpouring of post-season finale fan support. Yeah, we saw that. She encouraged people. Yeah, she encouraged people to contact, whoever that you can, to tell them that you want more. Pretty much saying that I don't look at social media because it's wrong and it's full of haters, and I'm not even going to bother looking at the scores or the critics, but then immediately turn around and saying, "Oh, by the way, in order for us to get renewed for another season, go to social media." Like, retarded. Yeah, see? Encourage your friends to watch the show. And then we read in a past one something about like, she was talking about how no one really says like, "I really enjoyed this show" on social media, which is an absolute lie. Because I see people talk about like, "I just watched this anime. It's really good. I recommend people checking it out." So I don't know what the hell she's talking about. I was in like a past article we read on one of the past shows. Yeah, a lot of my work has been word of mouth. There you go. Right here. I think what's interesting is that nowadays, if you like a show, you're very rarely going to go online and be like, "I like this show." Yeah, 100% like not based in reality and complete denial. Literally see that all the time with anime or manga or video games. By the way, I know this is already happening even though I'm not online, she concluded. "People have been sending me fun tweets and beautiful artwork and all the ship comments. I'm absolutely loving it. I know it's out there, but if you aren't doing it, I would encourage you to do it and support the show. So thank you." So there you go. And then again, this just ties into the fact that, The only way to save her is to like live in the echo chamber and then just tell said echo chamber to hopefully contact the CEOs, and then they'll like renew the series and stuff. So big win for us. The Acolyte's doing terrible in the ratings. Hopefully it won't get renewed. Main topic for today, Gina Carano, wrongful termination lawsuit. Well, right now, this judge is based because this judge bitch slapped Disney's motion to dismiss Gina Carano's wrongful termination lawsuit, says House of Mouse failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment. Suck it, Disney. In a major win for the former Star Wars actress, legal action against the House of Mouse, the judge overseeing the case has fully denied Disney's previous motion to dismiss the wrongful termination lawsuit filed against them by Gina Carano. As previously reported in February, Carano, which is getting financial assistance from Tesla and CEO Elon Musk, filed suit against Disney, accusing them of not only unlawful terminating her role as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, due to nothing more than the company's overall disagreement with her personal political options, but also treated her male co-workers, namely Pedro Pascal, less harshly in regards to their political speech and defaming her in the eyes of the public. And we are now seeing that along with Jack Black, who was also in Star Wars. Disney's harassment, retaliation, and termination of plaintiff and refusal to hire her for other promised roles were intended to cause injury to Carano, amounted to despicable conduct undertaken with willful and conscious disregard of plaintiff's rights under California law, and amounted to despicable conduct that subjected Carano to cruel and unjust hardship in conscious disregard of her rights, thus supporting punitive damages, due to nothing more than the company's overall disagreement with her personal political opinions, and in doing so, also defaming her in the eyes of the public, argued the actress's legal team. So then Disney responded to just having that case dismissed on the grounds that, in their opinion, the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution provides them the right to disassociate its own artistic message from Carano's outspoken political beliefs. So Disney has a constitutional right not to associate its artistic expression with Carano's speech, such that the First Amendment provides a complete defense to Carano's claims, said the House of Mouse. Carano's claims are all barred by the First Amendment, as the Supreme Court held in Hurley. Of course they would use an Irish American gay, lesbian, bisexual group of Boston. Of course they would look around and find a case that involved some sort of LGBTQ bullshit. The First Amendment embodies a core principle of speakers' autonomy that bars the state from dictating to expressive enterprises what to say and how to say it and whom to say it through. As the court further held in Boy Scouts of America versus Dale, that principle means that a state cannot force an employer engaged in speech to speak through an employee whose own views or public profile could compromise the employer's own message, even if the employee does not express her views on the job. And then to this end, Disney then affirmed state law can protect employee political activity without violating the employer's free speech rights. And then they cited a quotation. What state law cannot do, however, is force entities that do create speech products to speak through writers or singers or actors whose own speech and public profile could, in the employer's view, compromise the employer's ability to express itself in its own chosen matter, they declared. Carano's suit contravenes that rule. If it is an impermissible effort to invoke state power to override a private entity's decision about what to say in its own art and how to say it, the complaint should be dismissed. And then, as the celebration takes off, the judge raises two middle fingers towards Disney and says that argument ultimately falls flat, as their petition to dismiss has now been denied. Denied. And you know what? You know what, Disney?
That's your problem, fuckface.
Suck it. So, as ruled by Los Angeles District Judge Shirlene Peace Garnett on July 24th, where an organization claims protection under the First Amendment's expressive associational right, a court, quote, must determine whether the group engages in expressive association. Here, although Disney has indisputably engaged in expressive activity, including but certainly not limited to producing and disseminating The Mandalorian, they have failed to establish that they engage in expressive association. Furthermore, at this stage in the litigation, the court cannot conclude, as defendants urge to it, that Carano's continued employment by defendants would inhibit or intrude upon defendants' right to express association. That right there, to me, sounds like the big one. And they're bitching about, well, we're covered under the First Amendment right too. They failed to answer, okay, what is her saying that? How does that hinder you guys from your expressive, your free speech? They failed to answer it. So the defendants are not members-only nonprofit organizations, she continued. Instead, defendants are for-profit corporations who, as relevant to this lawsuit, employ actors such as the plaintiff as well as an administrative staff to create television series and films. Defendants have not identified any evidence in the complaint or otherwise to substantiate a claim that the employee public-facing actors, for the purpose of promoting the, quote, values of respect, decency, integrity, or inclusion, said the Honorable Judge Garrett. Accordingly, defendants' invocation of the supposedly detrimental effects of plaintiff's mere presence as one of defendant's employees lacks constitutional import. As an initial matter, defendant's argument focuses narrowly on their termination of plaintiff without addressing her allegations concerning defendant's pre- or post-termination conduct, much of which lacks any obvious expressive or artistic import. Defendant's affirmative defense is, for this reason alone, far more impenetrable. Ouch. Ouch. I'm so sorry, Disney. I'm so sorry. I can almost muster out a single tear, but yet I can't. Following a lengthy deep dive into the specific case laws which factored into her decision, the Honorable Judge Garrett ultimately declared the court thus denies defendants' motion insofar as it argues that their rights to control their speech bars plaintiffs' claims. So in sum, defendants have failed to set forth an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment, she concluded. Accordingly, for the foregoing reasons, the court denies defendants' motion. Ha, 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 ha.
That was hot and spicy.
Dude, just Turles blasted the shit out of Disney. But with this ruling, it appears that barring a settlement between Disney and Carano, the latter's lawsuit is now on the path to a full-on court trial. Notably, not only does this spell trouble for Disney on a legal and reputational level, but it also opens them up to the process of discovery. In other words, skeletons in Mickey Mouse's closet could soon be seen their first glimpse of sunlight in a very, very long time. Super happy for you, Gina. Go get them. Thank you, Elon Musk, for helping support her. And screw you, Disney. That Park Place also has this breaking story as well. And it probably goes into it. Yeah, once again, failed to provide an impenetrable defense under the First Amendment. Court denies defendant. And then we kind of get a backstory of why she was wrongly fired because of her posts on various social media, including X. Carano composed and published the post while she was off duty and away from the workplace. So defendants termination Carano's employment and took other retaliatory actions to limit and deny her future employment opportunities, including but not limited to making malicious false statements about Carano with the intention of damaging her reputation and thus her ability to find retain work. That's what her lawsuit is alleging. Also stated, defendants treated Carano differently than her similarly situated male co-workers who likewise expressed their personal political views on social media, but upon information and belief were not counseled or disciplined, let alone terminated. And the lawsuit specifically accused the Walt Disney Company and Lucasfilms of wrongful discharge, and refusal to hire, and sex discrimination. Very good at throwing that sex and discrimination there, because that's what they would do too. I mean, we literally just read the other one where they pulled out an LGBTQ court filing. So, yeah, fight fire with fire, as Bugs Bunny would say. So, Gina's asking for preliminary and permanent injunctive relief requiring defendants to reinstate Carano to her prior position with no loss of pay or benefits. Judgment declaring that defendants' termination of Carano's employment was unlawful and in violation of California law. Compensatory damages, including but not limited to loss of pay from the date of termination to the date of reinstatement, in an amount to be determined at trial, but exceedingly $75,000. Compensatory damages for loss of future employment, including but not limited to the promised role in Rangers of the New Republic, in an amount to be determined at trial. Emotional distress damages in an amount to be determined at trial. Punitive damages also to be determined at trial. Reasonable attorney fees and costs. Such other further relief as the court may deem, and other things that the court might deem acceptable. So, yep, right there. Oh, boy. My stream was glitching out here. We might have to call it early because Rumble Studios is being garbage. But it kind of is reiterating. It's reiterating what we already read, that what Disney tried to do. Apparently, Disney's motion. The coup de grace came in February 2021 when Carano admittedly posted on Instagram a post comparing criticism of political conservative viewpoints to the Holocaust and Nazi Germany. You know what? It's amazing that the left throw the word Nazi and all that stuff around, but you do that right back at them. They get really, really butthurt about it too. Almost like they're the ones that are actually the Nazis. Which I think they are. Because they like socialism. What do you think the National Socialist Germans Work Party or whatever it's called? Then they try to say Carano's decision to publicly trivialize the Holocaust by comparing criticism of political conservatives to the annihilation of millions of Jewish people, notably not thousands, was the final straw for Disney. Carano alleges Lucasfilm that same day denounced her statement and observed that it had no plans to employ her in the future. The motion later says Disney had enough the same day. Okay, I feel like we literally just read that. What are they doing? Padding? So they got rid of her, and then as we know, Judge Garnett was unconvinced by Disney's argument. I'm not convinced there are no disputed facts. The outlet also reported that Judge Garnett appeared to favor an argument from Carano's lawyer, Gene Shar. Shar argued Disney's First Amendment defense cannot allow it to short-circuit the normal litigation process. Garnett's reaction to this argument stated, "I don't necessarily disagree with you." And then Hollywood reported, Winston Cho even noted, a federal judge has signaled that Gina Carano's lawsuit against Disney and Lucasfilms over her termination from the Mandalorian will be allowed to proceed as the court considers whether the First Amendment allows private companies to sever ties with employees who publicly clash with their values. Let's see. Wonder if Gina has made any public statements since this. Ron Coleman's also shared his analytics on here. Coleman then asserted that Judge Garnett wants to hear more. I don't see how you can come out of that hearing as Disney lawyer with a great deal of optimism. The judge wants to hear more and she wants to see more discovery. So he kind of called like, yeah, what they're saying, you guys got to provide more than that. Looks like that's the conclusion Ron came. It's really, really important to understand that if she denies the motion to dismiss, it's not a ruling of the merits. It may very well be that Disney acted within its right in firing her. It may very, very well be based on a sober discussion of what they perceive their audience to be, or even a drunken and irrational discussion, but that it was really based on audience expectations and sensibility. But as I said, if they find that smoking gun that suggests that it was punishment for her not being on board with the woke agenda that is so baked into Disney as an institution, may very well make a big difference. And what do you guys think of the judge's comment? Well, so far she's I think she's making the right call, because I'm on Gina's side. It's bullshit. And I'm also curious, like, if this goes through and Gina actually wins, what does that have to say about like Hollywood's blacklist? Because that can open up lawsuits of people who are blacklisted from the acting community because of the same thing. We see that in Hollywood, and we saw that in voice acting, you know, with Vic. They said it was because he was a sex pest, but a lot of it also was because he was a white male Christian. My boy Eric, he also had Wrong Think. He was also let go for Wrong Think. And other actors that I know as well. So super happy for you, Gina, if you're watching this. I'm so glad that things are going well for you, and I hope nothing more but the best, and Disney can, get fucked. And yeah, Disney is
gay.
Is gay indeed. Well, on that happy note, we'll go ahead and we'll call the stream for tonight. So thanks to everyone who hung out with me. Sorry if it was laggy. I noticed on Rumble on my end it was laggy. I don't know. I'm hoping everything's all right. Could be my internet provider at Spectrum. They are garbage a lot of time. But in any case, thanks you. Anyway, thanks again, you guys, for hanging out with me. We were on YouTube, we were on Rumble, we were on Kick, and we were on X. If you enjoyed it, make sure to hit that subscribe button and punch the thumbs up and turn on notifications to get notified when I go live, whether it's this or game streaming. You can also find my other social medias in the description or over on X in my bio. You can also follow me there as well. Thanks for helping the channel grow. And if you want to go beyond just pushing out the algorithm and the rhythm, maybe check the rhythm, the groovy rhythm. Maybe you can check out the membership and subscription tiers. Check out that to help the channel grow as well. But I'm humbled and blessed and thankful for you guys just coming to hang out with me. I definitely feel like I need to plan just a little bit more time in terms of what I want to talk about. But I also kind of want to like try to also incorporate like, just looking over movies from the past and like video games and stuff, and just kind of read up on them a little bit and share what I really enjoyed and whatnot. And also maybe try to find new ones too. So we'll try to incorporate that into it as well. Cause I also want to like bring out the good of stuff as well. And, it's always fun to make fun of the insanity and stuff too, but definitely I'm trying to think of more ways to expand the show. So if you guys have any suggestions, let me know. And I'm trying to, as always, get more guests on the show. And, if you have anyone in mind, also let me know. And if you think I'd be good on someone else's show, let them know. I'd be down to chat, depending on who it is. Anyway, take care, you guys. You guys have a wonderful night. God bless. Happy hump day. And I'll catch you guys hopefully tomorrow. And we'll continue some more gaming. Till then.